Once upon a time, there were 3 little girls who went to Congress.
Thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice, for being there to call out to your mom. How heartbreaking was that?
Love that ending, that music. That's why I waited. But welcome to another episode of Straight Outta Politics. I'm your host for today. I'm Jay, CJ, or Compton J on Twitter. Please look me up. I couldn't think of another video that was perfect to begin with. And let's put a picture of Ilhan on here, since she is one of the main topics of today, the other being Nina Turner. So everybody heard the news. So, I'm not on Twitter, like just lingering on Twitter. I'll get on there to see, and typically in the morning, I get on there, let me see what's everybody's talking about. And I couldn't find anything in unison but this topic. And this was like the major topic. Everybody was tweeting about it. I frankly didn't personally have any sort of big interest in this story. Like if people weren't talking about it, I would have done something completely different today. But people are talking about this, so I said let's talk about it. Anyway, Ilhan Omar was removed from the committee. This is such a duopoly thing, and the PR arm of the duopoly reports on it over and over, so to get the people riled up about a topic they want you to be riled up. This is such, to me, not a thing, because it's not like Ilhan was doing anything really. I mean, like she's an imperialist. She's part of the NATO left. Like, whatever. And it's not like any of these committees are here doing any of the work for the working class people, any working class and poor. None of the committees in all of Congress. Well, I'm not going to say that. 99% of the committees of all of Congress. I'm sure Bernie has some sort of old committee or something uh, that's still alive that I don't want to just say 100%. I'll save that super chat. Thank you. And we'll get to some comments just to see what everybody's talking about. But it's good riddance from me. Like, okay, she's off. She shouldn't be on NATO left should not be on the Foreign Affairs Committee. Should not be on any committee. So I'm for taking all of the squad, all of progressives off of all of committees who aren't really doing anything. They're just using it to pretend like they're for the people. And when we get to it, we'll talk about the Somali video, or the video at a Somali concert where her own people from Somalia are booing her. And we'll talk about an article. But then there's also the Nina Turner video where in one of our streams, Nick and I didn't quite get to it, so we use it as an outro video, like the first few minutes of it. But there's a lot more in it, talking about third parties, possible run, all this type of thing. So we'll get into that also. And here is the graphic, awesome graphic made by Aaron. Exit stage left. Another classic, iconic thumbnail made by Aaron. And let me clean some of this up. So let's get right to the topic. So let's do these. Let's get all the housekeeping out of the way so we can get to the topic here, because it feels like it's hot on everybody's mind. It's a lot of comments already. But let me ask this question to the audience, and I'll kind of go to your answers to this. So beginning here at 3:42 and after is what we're talking about. So 3:42 and after. The comments from there, I'll read. So this is the question: what was your initial reaction before you talk to anybody else? Just what was your initial reaction? What is your initial reaction about the subject? They've been drawing this out. And I think there's a video of a Republican saying he's going to vote against it, but apparently he voted for it today, because Bernie said every single Republican voted for it. But anyway, let's get to the announcements. First and always first, we start with our Substack. Our Substack will provide you with notifications of when we go live and when we upload clips. And we usually get 3 or 4 clips uploaded, sometimes 5 during the week, and then maybe half of that on the weekend. So that's a lot of notifications you may be missing, content you may be missing. So make sure you're on our Substack. And the added bonus is you get the link to our Discord through Substack, if you're a Substack subscriber. And this is all free. Also, Patreon users, subscribers, you get the Discord link too. And if you would like to be, or if you can contribute to us on a monthly basis, our Patreon is the best way to do it. $2 a month, $3 a month, anything like that. So if you're able to do it, if not, Substack is the free way to get access to all of that. Let's like the stream. We're at 175. Let's see if we can get to 175 likes. If everybody can hit that like button. It looks like we got a bunch of answers to that question I had. So keep inserting your answers in that. I'll get to as many as I can. Our website, revolutionaryblackoutnetwork.com. You can go over there, check out the cities we're going to be launching chapters in, the launch month, and when our launch date is, pictures of us, profiles of us, if you wanted to see more about our background, links to all of our social media. You can find all on there, what we're about, our story on the website. Here's our email, info@revblacknetwork.com. So no longer using the Gmail account. So for those that still have it, make sure you update our contact information. And Ilhan exits. I think that's a pretty simple name for this first topic. And what we're going to do is just take it back to Twitter and look at some of the things I bookmarked. Now, I know there's been a ton more things, so we'll look at the other newer things. I bookmarked these about 30 minutes ago, maybe 40 minutes ago. So I'm sure there's a lot more people chimed in on this. But let's start from the bottom, because this is where more information right here, I think, is the first one. Actually, we'll play that later. So this AJ Plus News, I call them news, is a unique digital news and storytelling project promoting human rights and equality, holding power to account and amplifying the voices of the powerless. Just so you know who this is from. So, breaking. GOP lawmakers voted to remove Rep. Ilhan Omar from the House Foreign Affairs Committee, using her criticism of Israel as a pretext. Israel gets 3.8 billion in US aid, annual aid that is. Its military killed at least 2 US citizens last year, including a journalist and elderly man. So this is the sort of the breaking news, I guess you can call it. Is this breaking news? Does the subject qualify this to be breaking news? Anyway, now let's go to your comments to the question. Let's go there. Where did I say 42? Let's start at that time slot there. So the question was, what was your initial response? What's your response just to the general story? And let me keep going. 42. All right, so 342 starts here. Okay. I think the issue is that she shouldn't be kicked off because she says things people don't like, i.e., Palestine. I guess, theoretically, yeah, that could be the argument. But it is my argument to is that the shenanigans that goes on within this red blue game is for us to point out the contradictions and to laugh at the nonsense. Just as in the thing that happened to Pelosi and her husband, it's not up to the working class to feel sorry for people who are literally voting to ship money to over to Ukraine Nazis. So that is our position, or that is my position. I don't want to speak for everybody else, but you point out uh, uh, the basic arguing point that Democrats and liberals and people who would call themselves lefty, I guess you can say that too, would say is the issue. So that's good to start out with this one, because that is actually the actual foundation. Now we can start from that baseline. If you keep attacking Ilhan, we are going to need 6 more progressives. That's a funny one. That's a funny comment. Okay, let's see what Rick says here. None of them, left or right, should be on any committee or in Congress, only the dictatorship of the proletariat. And this essentially is what I'm saying. Like, I don't care who's on there, because the committee's not doing anything for anybody. Like, I'm not for the working class. They're shipping all billions of dollars, all of our taxpayer money over to weapons manufacturers. So, I mean, just think about the tanks. U.S. pledged tanks. The tanks won't be ready for months. I believe it's months. I'm not sure if it's a year at least, but I know it's months. That's telling you they know the war. They're not even foreseeing any peace dealings. Peace can happen. We got tanks to make. Let's see here. Feminist, she's now part of TYT, been sold out, sadly. She has been sold out for a while. I must agree. Here's Jay. To supporters of the squad who continue to make excuses for them, I want to ask, what good is a committee assignment if they are going to go with whatever the establishment want? And that is also the point that we have here, Jay. And Jay explicitly and beautifully lays it out here. It's like, who cares that she's not on it? She's literally not doing anything to help. And we have the Somalians, her people, who are saying it, that she's terrible. That she is being used and has been used as an instrument of imperialism in the Horn of Africa. And we'll get to that article from Gray Zone. Thank you, Jay. Let's see here. Oh, we can throw this in, even though this is not the topic, but it's the secondary upcoming topic. Technically, Nina is part of TYT now, but when she was running her campaign against Chantel Brown, channels like Humanist Report, Tim Black, social media heavily covered. I didn't know that about Tim Black, but I did know about the other two. I didn't. He doesn't pop up in my feed or anything like that, so I don't know anything about what's happening with Tim Black. Let's see if there's any more answers to the question right here. I'm glad they threw her off, but what was their reason? And that's something we're going to discover. It's something about Israel. Just understand. We have to be able to jump in and out of the sort of matrix, and the matrix is talking about this blue-red game, because when we're talking in and about the blue-red game, the words that we're using are not necessarily accurate. So, meaning they could be saying it's Israel when really it's a tit for tat because they took Marjorie Taylor Greene off. But the thing is, I feel the same way about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't see Ilhan Omar any better than a Marjorie Taylor Greene. They're the same, just on different sides to me. So if the Democrats took somebody off, why shouldn't Republicans be able to take somebody off in the blue-red game? Is what I'm talking about. Why not? Whatever your reason, they had a reason, they have a reason. I'm just not invested in a side in this blue-red stuff, because to me, this is really a distraction. I don't care that she got kicked off. What different? Oh, this is a different. Okay, sounding similar. Kicked off her committee. What difference will it make? So Jay and Joanne Hansen are kind of alluding to the same sort of thing. Like, it literally makes no difference. So Ilhan is out of politics or out of a committee? Out of a committee. I wish she was out of politics because she's terrible, but no, she's out of committee. She got kicked off a committee, the Foreign Affairs. I think that's the name. Foreign. I forget the full name, but we're gonna see that in just a second here. Let me read some more of your comments. Good riddance. Let's see. I'm pretty sure the reasoning was that she doesn't bend the knee enough, and they need actual people to do oligarchy bidding, not some do nothing pretender. It's a distraction for the libs. Ilhan has done nothing for leftists to care about this. That's what I'm saying. Like, it literally, she has done nothing, so who cares? Actually, she has done harm, according to the Somalians in the Horn of Africa. So we'll get to that part of the story. Ilhan did betray her own people as well as us. Absolutely. If 99% of your sandwich is moldy, you try to protect the 1% that is not, or just get a new sandwich. USA government. Makes no sense if she was on the committee or not. This is just going to be used by PMC to rile up some hate toward the right, feeding into more tribalism. I love this comment. And we're going to stop here as far as the comments and continue with the story, some of the other stories I got. But I'm going to start this and I'm going to come back to this comment here. So let's continue. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so going upwards. So let's go to this next one. This is from Ilhan right here. So this is directly from her. This is her reaction. This is all after she was kicked off. So just going to kind of take this chronologically. So representation matters. We didn't come to Congress to be silent. We came to Congress to be the voice for families who are displaced in refugee camps and those seeking justice around the world. Because that's what this child survivor of war would have wanted. Just disgusting what she's doing here. So let's break down this bullshit that she just said here. Representation doesn't matter, as you can see in the title. Let me get the actual title here. Because I want to read it. That title, but it's in the description box. So in the description box, of course, I had a title by Felicia, Ilhan Omar remove. Somalians agree that Ilhan Omar is trash. Blue MAGA pretends Ilhan Omar is a fighter for Africa, and we're going to see some tweets that speaks to that. And then representation doesn't matter in the case of Ilhan Omar. And representation in her case does not matter. Representation matters when you're representing that community. Representation doesn't matter when you're just a rubber stamp vote for the same oligarch and ruling class. That's when you are bastardizing representation. So your type of representation, Ilhan, doesn't matter. Where you're just there as the person of color for pictures and videos and comments, but you're rubber stamping what the oligarch wants. And also interfering in the Horn of Africa, and the critique that some Somalis have, of course, that she hasn't delivered what she said to get elected, of course. But the thing that's unique about where they're from is that she was instrumental in getting rid of a president that was very popular president. And that president who had turned down some sort of oil company or oil contract and said, no, we're not doing it, all of a sudden was instrumental in getting him removed and installing somebody else who literally, I think it was the day after he was installed, oh, the contract is approved. So who cares if she's on a committee doing that? Why are we fighting for that? So this is bullshit. But see, this is what they do in the red blue game. They use these little tit for tat skirmishes as a way to fill the space because they're not going to deliver policy. If we didn't have this to talk about, what would be talking about? Wouldn't we be asking, what the fuck are y'all doing in DC? Like it matters if she's on or not. It doesn't make any difference. The policy is going to be the same whether she's there or not. It makes zero difference. We didn't come to Congress to be silent, but that's exactly what you're doing. You're being silent about the military-industrial complex. We came to Congress to be a voice for families who are displaced in refugee camps. How dare you? Actually, let me read that again. Because this sentence in no way says this is what she's doing. That sentence says that's what I initially came here for. That's all that's saying. We came to Congress to be a voice for families who are displaced in refugee camps and those seeking justice around the world, comma, I would add here, but that is no longer my goal since now I am a Nancy's angel. Scratch that, update, Hakeem Jeffries Angels. Period. Because that's what this child, survivor of war, would have wanted. How dare you? Let's listen. I may have to just mute myself where I can't hear this because I can't. We're certainly not listening to no damn 5.5 minutes. So let's listen to how much we can stomach here. Break out the Pepto, something. Oh man, let's do it.
This debate today, it's about
A little bit too loud. Let me turn the volume down just a little bit.
who gets to be an American. What opinions do we get to have, do we have to be counted as Americans? This is what this debate is about, Madam Speaker. There is this idea that you are a suspect if you are an immigrant, or if you are from certain parts of the world, or a certain skin tone, or a Muslim. It is no accident.
Oh my God. So, to me, this proves Ilhan's not doing nothing on that committee. Because you know what her speech would be if she was actually doing something? She would be saying, they're removing me off this committee because I'm against imperialism. And I'm pointing out all the contradictions in the systems. I'm pointing out all the corruption. That's what her speech would be if she was doing anything. But instead, what does she have to go to? The weak identity politics. For the people that like her, if she's getting clicked off because she's some sort of good person on here, why isn't she pointing out all the stuff that why they're kicking her off? Because she's pointing out corruption, because she's not voting the way she wants. That's because she's doing exactly that. It makes zero difference why this person is not on the committee anymore. This is what we're doing, bringing out pictures when she was small. This is what we're doing. This is just a show for the libs are probably eating this up. They're infuriated. Libs at home watching MSNBC, they are infuriated. I can imagine my own mom. I should go over there just go over there and see if she says anything. I guarantee it's on the TV. I guarantee you. Ilhan was not, and I don't want to go over there and rain on my mom's parade and have to be like, Ilhan is not doing anything on that committee, Mom. She's not doing a darn thing, Mom. In fact, she's meddling in the Horn of Africa, and we'll be getting to that. article from the Gray Zone. Actually, it's picked up on a bunch of other. When I Googled it, actually, I saw a bunch of other articles about it. So, but yeah. No, let's finish with. I was about to switch it out. No, let's finish with this here. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's listen a little more what she says. We got a couple of more videos and tweets from other people. But yeah.
That members of the Republican Party accused the first Black president, Barack Obama, of being a secret Muslim. It is no accident that former President Donald Trump led a birther movement.
Yeah. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get through this one, guys and girls and people and humans. Because one of the hardest things for me to sit through is actual fake identity politics in front of me. That's very hard to sit through for me. She's bringing up Obama because understand, using this in this situation is what makes her part of damaging the whole idea of people being discriminated against. This, what's happening to you, ma'am, petty bourgeoisie, doesn't rise to the level of racism that's actually happening to people. But when you use this as your armor, you're not helping those who are really going through struggles of racism. This doesn't help. So by doing this, you are actually contributing to the problem. Because now you're giving people who would otherwise could be persuaded not to be racist, because there's some people who are borderline on the racism thing, but when they see people who are clearly applying identity politics in a situation that should not be, they're like, wait a minute, why would you use this? Now, maybe later on in the speech, she brings up Marjorie Taylor Greene, but use Marjorie Taylor Greene, say something like that. But you're using this. This doesn't help at all. Because even this, you're betraying the person in this picture. You're betraying. Because you no longer represent people like that, like you were. You don't represent those people any longer. You represent the ruling class oligarch of the Democratic establishment. So, as much as you want to hearken back to that child, you're not representing that child how that child should be represented.
That falsely claimed he was born in Kenya. Because to them, falsely labeling the first and only president of the United States of America a Muslim and African immigrant somehow made him less American. Well, I am Muslim. I am an immigrant, and interestingly, from Africa. Is anyone surprised that I am being targeted? Is anyone surprised that I am somehow
So, now, let me show you how Democrats do the same thing to rile up their base to violence. How is this not that? How is this not that? You're pulling a different heartstring. But you're pulling the same bone that triggers violence. You're just going about it a different route. So the right may go about it by forcefully, because they have to project machismo. Oh, I'm a masculine, I'm tough. So they say it in that way. What you doing, how you're doing it, you do it in a way where you're trying to gain pity and sorrow. But it triggers the same thing. It could trigger, I should say. It could trigger a violent reaction in a person who may not be all the way there mentally, as we've seen. But Democrats always want to act like they don't do the same. You do the same thing, and this is a clinic on right here. What we're watching right here, what she's going into. This is terrible, man. This is terrible.
Deemed unworthy to speak about American foreign policy, or that they see me as a powerful voice that needs to be silenced. Frankly, it is expected, because when you push power, power pushes back. Representation.
When you push power, power pushes back. That might be it for me, everybody. That is ridiculous. When you push power, power pushes back. What is she talking about? Everybody who's here, and then you understand. Everybody's here. We're on the same page, or a lot of us are. You understand there's somebody who's listening to that and eating every single ounce of this up. Damn near in tears. There's probably people damn near in tears about what she's saying here. This is terrible, what she's doing.
Matters. Continuing to expand our ideas of who is American and who can partake in the American experiment is a good thing. I am an American who was sent here.
This is all the show right here, man. We are their audience, everybody. We're their audience. They are literally just trolling the fuck out of us. This is a clown show. I got to get to some more video, and I just can't take much more of this. I really try to get back to that. I got to do it in like minute spurts. It's just terrible listening to this garbage. And then Jordan. And so here is some of the reaction of some progressives. I think I'm going to get into Jordan, Bernie, what's the other guy's name? Brooklyn Dad. So here is Jordan saying, utterly ridiculous that House Republicans voted to remove Ilhan from the Foreign Affairs Committee. Here's Ilhan grilling war criminal Elliot Abrams over his support for murder, mass murder, and genocide in 2019. So, I mean, we can listen. What? Wait. Oh, I was about to say she connected this to this. I said we can listen to this, but if we listen to this, then I have to bring up receipts that's to the contrary about Ilhan, which I can. I mean, it's not too hard to find. Actually, maybe let's do that. Ilhan. So yeah, I guess we can play. We can play. For sure, I guess. Let's see. That's another one. That's another one. I kind of want something on topic with Somalia. So maybe when we get to the Somalia story, let's bring that one up. I don't want to drive too much off the topic, but let's listen. So let's listen to Ilhan here, and let's see how this approved interrogation goes here.
I fail to understand why members of this committee or the American people should find any testimony that you give today to be truthful.
If I can respond to that,
It wasn't a question.
it was
On
an
February,
attack.
that was
It
not
an
a
attack, and
question. That was the
Chairman,
I
point of
reserve
personal
the
privilege.
right
I'm
to my
sorry.
time.
It is not. It is.
So I'm gonna, you know, it's only a quarter of it that played. So I'm gonna give the clip more of a benefit of the doubt, or is this just supposed to prove that she's spunky, or is it gonna be substance? So I could be jumping the gun. So let's listen. Let's listen some more. It's only 25%. So let's listen to what she says.
It is not right.
That was
Members
not
of
a
this
question.
Committee can attack
On
a
February
witness
8th,
who is not permitted to reply.
that was not a question. Thank you for your participation. On February 8th, 1982, you testified before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee about U.S. policy in El Salvador. In that hearing, you dismissed as communist propaganda report about the massacre of El Mozote, in which more than 800 civilians, including children as young as 2 years old, were brutally murdered by US trained troops. During that massacre, some of those troops bragged about raping a 12-year-old girl before they killed them. Girls before they killed them. You later said that the US policy in El Salvador was a fabulous achievement. Yes or no, do you still think so?
From the day that President Duarte was elected in a free election to this day, El Salvador has been a democracy. That's a fabulous achievement.
Yes or no, do you think that massacre was a fabulous achievement that happened under our watch?
That is a ridiculous question, and I will
Yes
not
or
respond
no?
to it. No.
I will
Sorry,
take,
Mr.
I will
Chairman,
take
but
that
I'm-
as a yes.
I am not going to respond to that kind of personal attack, which is not a question.
I guess that's something to Jordan. Like the threshold that qualifies as a thing is just so low for some progressives. That's supposed to show she has spunk or something, I guess. Oh God. What does this do about votes? Is my point. Like, what is okay? You did that. Your votes is aligned with the establishment. So here's AOC. Of course, she had to chime in. Wow, I didn't realize I had this many, but yeah, I'm starting to get nauseous from some of this stuff here. Okay, but we have to get through it. Bear with me here, everybody. Quote, I had a member of the Republican caucus threaten my life, and the Republican caucus rewarded him with one of the most prestigious committee assignments in this Congress. Watch Rep. AOC respond to Republicans' removal of Rep. Ilhan Omar from the Foreign Affairs Committee. So let's listen. I don't know how much we can go through. Oh, this is only a minute. So I should be able to keep it down for a minute.
I think one of the things that
let's do this here.
Thank you. Now, as a fellow New Yorker, I think one of the things that we should talk about here is also one of the disgusting legacies after 9/11 has been the targeting and racism against Muslim Americans throughout the United States of America. And this is an extension of that legacy. Consistency, there is nothing consistent with the Republican Party's.
Okay, this is disgusting. So you're trying to tie the racism that's regular Somalians, and I'm just saying regular compared to elected, so unelected Somalians, let's just say that, regular people, their struggle with Ilhan Omar, the racism they go through with this. You see the disgustingness of petty bourgeoisie? They want to project and use our language and apply it to their petty garbage issues. Ilhan is nothing like the Somalians, and we're going to bring up the Somalians in just a minute here, where they booed her. So that's terrible.
Against Muslim Americans throughout the United States of America. And this is an extension of that legacy. Consistency, there is nothing.
I said Somalians, Muslims.
Consistent with the Republican Party's continued attack, except for the racism and incitement of violence against women of color in this body. I had a member of the Republican caucus threaten my life, and you all and the Republican caucus rewarded him with one of the most prestigious committee assignments.
So, so the Republicans are supposed to, when picking who's on their committees, they're supposed to go, who didn't say something about a Democrat? Is that what's supposed to happen? Like, she is just trying to rile people up for some nonsense, tying all of these events together as if let's try to get through this shit.
In this Congress, don't tell me this is about consistency. Don't tell me that this is about a condemnation of anti-Semitic remarks.
You see Corey and Jamal? This is an eye-opening moment here. Hey, like, yeah, look, it's just how we practice in the back. Look at Jamal. It's completely like understanding that this is theatrics here. Watch Jamal. Listen to AOC if you have to, but watch Jamal and Corey Bush.
Don't tell me that this is about a condemnation of anti-Semitic remarks when you have a member.
Those aren't the reaction of a person who's genuinely feeling that speech. And you're feeling it, and you're like, that's the reaction of, yeah, great job. Nice at bat, like a nice performance. Break a leg. These people are fucking jokes.
Member of the Republican caucus who has talked about Jewish space lasers and an entire amount of tropes, and also elevated her to some of the highest committee assignments in this body. This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single time expired. My life was.
Why is she bouncing for when she's talking? I can't. Everybody, I can't. This is some clown shit right here. That was a complete performance meant for social media So the social media clips will look like she was all into it. That was complete theater there. What the fuck? It's hard to sit through this shit, boy. It's hard to sit through some of this shit. The victims who have the best healthcare systems, all these victims got these great healthcare systems, get paid 6 figures, plus book deals, plus celebrity, plus people worship them. But they're just like us, though. I guess so. Let's read what Bernie says. Bernie says it is outrageous that every Republican voted to remove Ilhan, a third-term Muslim American, so he's planning it to woman, from the Foreign Affairs Committee. Our job is to unite the American people, not divide them based on our race and religion. What a disgrace. What a disgraceful day for the House. Stoking that violence. Here's Summer Lee. Today, she's already on it, boy. Today, in the face of undeniable hate, racism, Islamophobia, and unparalleled hypocrisy, my colleague, Ilhan Omar, stood strong and proudly affirmed her own right to be here, a Black African refugee Muslim woman in America, in Congress, and most certainly on Foreign Affairs Committee. Oh man, we're out here by ourselves. We got people, elected officials, out here trying to conjure up pity from the masses for themselves. We are in a sad state of affairs here. Let's continue. This one is Justin. Oh, this is a part that adds to the story. Justin Amash. Congress is just political theater. Yes, Justin. Republicans themselves approved Ilhan Omar's election to the Foreign Affairs Committee just yesterday in a unanimous consent on the floor. In other words, they put her on the committee only so they could pass a resolution to vote her off. And then this is the proof. There is no objections. The resolution was agreed upon. Her name is right there. Committee of Foreign Affairs. They agreed. Political theater. This is all theater. This is all theater. Because if it was serious, I guess the point that Justin is making is that why not just not vote her on a committee instead of putting her on so you can do this? Which one is this? Now, this is a Democrat, right? Yeah, this is a rep. Serving, I think this is Massachusetts. So this is out in the neck of the woods of Sabby. Rep Jim McGovern. Let's hear him also participate in this infighting between the MAGA teams.
I mean, the hypocrisy here is staggering. I mean, it literally takes my breath away. Congresswoman Omar has apologized for the things that she said. She said she wants to be an ally in the fight against anti-Semitism. She even voted to condemn anti-Semitism. Every Democrat did as well. You know who voted no? 23 Republicans. 23 Republicans voted against condemning anti-Semitism. Now, maybe the gentleman can explain whether or not they should be removed from their committees. And then we gave our colleagues in the Rules Committee the chance to add an amendment to their socialism resolution condemning the mass murder of 6 million Jewish people by the Nazis, also known as the Nationalist Socialist German Workers' Party. And guess what? They all voted no. They all voted no. Oh my God, wow. I mean, I keep hearing this both side stuff, trying to make false equivalences, saying the Democrats opened the door to removing her. Give me a break. Congresswoman Omar never posted a video pretending to kill another member of Congress. She never advocated putting a bullet in the head of the Speaker of the House of Representatives. She never had dinner with neo-Nazi Nick Fuentes and anti-Semite Kanye West. She never spoke at a white supremacy conference. She never said that she would have won January 6th because she was armed. No, those are things Republicans have done and have said. And I will ask again, why aren't those members being removed too? So please, to my friends on the other side, please spare us the absurd comparisons and lectures about anti-Semitism. Republicans refuse to condemn anti-Semitism. Republicans refuse to add an amendment condemning Nazis to this socialism resolution. Republicans have been silent while members of their conference say things that are blatantly anti-Semitic and appear beside Holocaust deniers and bigots. These are awful, awful bills designed to divide and distract people.
Participation in the same thing. Now, I'm going to switch gears here. Not gears, but I'm going to put in another video. Now, let's look at another video of Ilhan. Yeah, let's do that. Let's put that one right here. Here is another one. Right here. She also used the identity.
You are supposed to be a progressive Democrat, anti-war. Anti-war. 80 billion to Ukraine is not anti-war.
Uh-oh.
Ukraine defends themselves.
Ukraine is killing its own citizens
Helping people
in the Donbass.
war. We are helping little children like me that have been helped. So unless listen, unless you have not been paying attention to what is happening, there are millions of Ukrainians that have been displaced. There are piles of bodies that are being found in mass graves. There are little children whose lives are being lost.
By Zelensky.
Here,
Yeah, by Zelensky in the Donbass.
but unless you are someone like me that has been that child, you
Oh, here we
cannot
go.
tell me what my votes mean and how I get to vote in supporting people who desperately need support.
That's her out. A child of war. That's her out. Use it right there also. All right, so let's go to another video here. Actually, let's round to the article. I've done enough. I kind of want to get out of this topic because this is listening to all this nonsense and really don't care about this person. She's not doing anything for the people. But let's talk about her Somali issue. Now, this is her own people, but Ilhan Omar, and here's the topic, or here's the title of the article. Ilhan Omar, oops. Okay, you can see that. Ilhan Omar's meddling in Horn of Africa earns boos at Somali American concert. This is her own people. Let's start with the video first, and then I'll scroll back up and read some of the article. But the video is here. Let's click on it. If she was doing something on the Foreign Affairs Committee specifically to help the people in the Horn of Africa or Somalia, would they have this reaction? So what's the difference of you being on the committee if you're not doing nothing? This is the reaction of you being on the committee. Not doing a thing. So let's, oh, I think I gotta hit that. There we go. Now let's read a little bit of the article because it kind of explains why. So let's, framed by Republican media as a backlash against Ilhan Omar's woke politics, the boos of Somali American crowd expressed growing anger over the Congresswoman's role in U.S. meddling in the Horn of Africa. Ilhan Omar was greeted with vigorous booing during a July 2nd concert featuring Somali singer Soldan Saran in Minneapolis. The booing was so profound and so sustained that it was impossible to mistake it for cheers or all the thumbs downs for thumbs ups. It reportedly went on for 10 minutes or more, punctuated with "get out" and "get the fuck out of here," end quote. Ilhan smiled, gesturing at the crowd to temper down, as though the adulation was just too much. Her husband, Tim Minett, I think that's how you said, stood at her side looking awkward and confused. Then someone who seemed to be a concert manager gestured at the crowd more empathetically to tamper down. Some say the booing went on even longer while Ilhan went through the process of presenting Soldan Saran with some sort of award. The singer shifted uneasily from one leg to the other, seemingly startled and unsure what to do, then reached out to gesture at the crowd, also asking them to tone down their gestures of disapproval. This seems to be more than he could be had bargained for when he agreed to share the stage with the Congresswoman. Serere is extremely popular in Somalia community and was playing to a packed house. He's unaccustomed, to booze. This was his first concert in North America, and he's likely unfamiliar with Ilhan's record in the House and on the House Foreign Affairs Committee Subcommittee on Africa, Global Health, and Global Human Rights, where she serves as a vice chair. Karen Bass currently chairs the committee, and this is different now, and chairs the National Endowment for a Democratic, and they go into all that. I don't need to know that, and she's running for mayor. So they were booing for her record on the committee. So Somalis wanted her off the committee, it sounds like to me, because what she's doing on the committee is not helping them. And let's continue. Ilhan, an African immigrant and the only Black person on the subcommittee besides Bass, is a shoe-in to become chair if Democrats hold on to the House, unlikely as they may have. Now, we know they didn't, so we know that. Many Africans shudder at the thought, however, not only in Somalia, her country of origin, and the rest of the Horn of Africa, but also in the African Great Lakes regions in diaspora from both regions. When I organized a Twitter space discussion with Somali American activists on Ilhan's record, I heard an outpouring of anger, not only over her perceived neglect of her district, where violent crime is surging, but also over her role in the removal of Somali President Mohammed Abdullahi Mohammed, and support for a candidate affiliated with her personal clan. This was the popular president, Somali president here. If I said his name wrong, my apologies. I'm sure I did. This was but one of the examples of the Congresswoman's role in advancing U.S. meddling in the Horn of Africa. Ilhan meets with Kagame and Tedros as they plot against Ethiopia. In October 2021, Ilhan traveled to Rwanda as a guest of its authoritarian president and war criminal Paul Kagame, a darling of global elites. She then proceeded to vote against a House resolution to call on Kagame to free political prisoner Paul R. I'm not even gonna attempt to even say that. And this is looks like a tweet. In Rwanda on a private jet, Congresswoman Ms. Ilhan Omar stopped by our office today for a presentation of the foundation and other programs initiated by our chairperson, First Lady of Rwanda. And that's her. You can see the pictures here. Actually, let me blow it up so we can. Oh, shoot. It is actually takes us to Twitter. So let's go back. So anyway, so let's go back. So I won't click on it, but you can see it there. David Himbari, a former economic advisor to Kagame, and Tom Zollner, author of R's biography, slammed Ilhan in a Minnesota Post op-ed, writing that her relationship with Kagame threatened to throw her entire stance on the U.S. criminal justice system into a light of hypocrisy. End quote. With regards to Ethiopian civil conflict, Ilhan has directed her criticism squarely at the government, even as it defends Ethiopia from attacks by the U.S.-backed, and we already know TPLF, and that has been resolved. So, who ruled the country brutally for 27 years from 1991 to 2008 and waged war against the Eurites. So, that's what Somalians think of Ilhan Omar on the committee and her work on the committee, interfering in the Horn of Africa on the committee. So why isn't her exiting the committee so that she can't do more harm in the Horn of Africa? Not a good thing. I think Somalians would say that is objectively a better thing that she's not on there to influence, to be able to influence anything in the Horn of Africa on behalf of imperialism. So let's look at a couple of your comments here. It looks like quite a bit of comments. Let me go to Super Chats first. New theatrical contribution on Medium, Marcus Kazaski. Why the hell would anybody be into communism? And that's from Marcus Pfeiffer. Thank you for the super chat. Oh, that was something I was going to bring up later. And that's another super chat. Thank you for this super chat. And now let's bring up a couple of comments here. Let me see if I'm saying it right. Kagame is probably U.S. Europe best friend in Africa. Yes, and I think the article sort of alluded to that. So that's why Somalians don't like her. Why? Like, anyway, I think I've made the point. I do want to get to the next segment, but let's read this one here. You have viciously attacked many leftist commentators I like, and some of the criticism is definitely valid. Curious which leftist commentator shows you think are on the money these days. Cheers from a fan. And this is Charlie. Thank you for the super chat. And I think somebody's talking to. Okay, sorry. Like I was saying, thank you for the super chat. Convo Couch is somebody I would trust to give out good information. Somebody else. Jimmy Dore is decent. A new group, a new pair is Do Dissidents. Oh, Do Dissidents. DU Dissidents. Yeah, Do Dissidents. I mean, I've heard a little bit of them, but from what I've heard, they sound pretty good. So yeah. All right. So let's end this segment here with their exit. But actually, let me go back to one other thing, because I think there was one other thing to include here. And we can't miss Brooklyn Dad's tweet, because he also tweeted. And I remember I did not cover all of them. So I thought that B stood for bookmarks, but apparently it doesn't. I think I'm gonna have to get Twitter Blue. Probably gonna have to pay Twitter some money. So here is Brooklyn Dad Defiant. Rep. Ilhan Omar delivers a powerful speech in her own defense as the GOP looks to oust her from her Foreign Affairs Committee. I am an American. Bravo, part of the propaganda arm. And that gets almost 10,000 likes. Just on the level of just wants to make you throw up. But yeah, so he kind of reposted, I guess he reposted her video that she posted, and he calling it a speech. And also, let's make sure I didn't miss any new, because it was trending. Ilhan Omar trending. Let's see, what have I missed? We covered that one. Here is, let's see what Max says here. Ilhan Omar wasn't stripped from committee because she was a woman of color. The GOP ran a Somali woman against her. She was targeted for the same reason Corbyn was in the UK, the Israeli lobbies, Benjamins. No mention of this or Palestinians by AOC in the squad, because they're here to project on identity politics. That's what they're here to do. So let's continue. We saw the one that was AOC. Who was this rep here? We already saw Ilhan Omar. Who else has spoken up about this? Jordan, we also read one of his. We read Justin. Maybe I've seen everybody's so far. I can't listen to any more of these people. So anyway, I guess that might be our only reaction. Let's look and see what Glenn Greenwald says, and I guess we'll end it here with Glenn Greenwald's explanation. There were 3 members stripped by the GOP of significant committees. Adam Schiff, Eric Swalwell, and Ilhan Omar. I believe not all are women of color. 2, where is this new fake contrived speaking style? 3, this is about taking the new standard Democrats created and applying it to them. And this is what I was saying, tit for tat. This is why I don't understand why this is a thing. Y'all took some of their people off committees. What's the problem here? What is the issue here? I don't get it. I really don't get it. Anyway, I think we can end it there with Glenn. I don't need to play that video again. I do want to get to the Nina Turner video, because there is some news in the Nina Turner video that we're going to want to discuss. Now, many of you may have seen it or may not. So let me know if you've seen an interview with Nina Turner and Jordan Sheraton on Status Quo. Tell me if you've seen it or not, because we covered it towards the end of a video. What was the video? When we covered Crystal Ball's interview or with Jordan We covered Marianne Williamson interview, and then we're going to cover Nina Turner's, but we ran out of time. But so we just played the video at the end. So we're going to cover that full interview. And that's going to be the next story here. But first, what we're going to do is cover a couple of announcements. Sorry, couple of announcements. So first thing is our Substack. Make sure you get on our Substack to get notifications of when we go live. Make sure you're on our Substack when we get notifications when we send clips. And also, if you want to get access to our Discord, you also will be sent the link to the Discord once you're on our Substack. You can also join our Substack through our Patreon. So if you are able to contribute on a monthly basis through our Patreon and be a Patreon subscriber, $2 a month, $3 a month, $4 a month, whatever you could do. If you're able to contribute, you also get the Discord link that way. Now, let's like the stream. We're at 400 people watching right now. Could we go to 375 likes? Can we push 375 likes? That's about 60 more people hitting the like button. So can 60 more people hit the like button? It's good. We have 400 people here. Let's make sure we keep 400 people here for this topic. You're going to want to hear what Nina has said. You're going to want to hear what Nina has said. But hit that like button. 60 more people hit that like button. Let's bring us to 375 likes. And also, the new target, since we've hit 30,000, the new target is 50,000. So RBN to 50K by the end of this new year. So RBN to 50K by the end of this new year. I know it's a large target, but that's the target we are going after. The other thing is check out our website, revolutionaryblackoutnetwork.com. You can see several new things. Hit that like button. All right, so Nina Turner interview. What is on the screen? This one. All right, so let's go to YouTube from here. Oh, not YouTube TV. YouTube. All right, so let's look at the interview. And I think, because when we watched it, it was the full interview. That's just such an awesome thing. Anyway, so when we watched it, it was a full interview. I'm sorry, it was a full broadcast, like a 4-hour broadcast. But we're gonna go to status. Cool. And see, I think he cut it and made it a single interview. Yeah, right here. So we'll watch it. It's not a long interview. It's what, 15 minutes, 16 minutes or so.
How you doing, Nina Turner?
It's actually a little bit longer. So let's get through it. We'll turn it down. It's sound kind of loud there. I'll turn it up if we need to. So let's get started, everybody, on this new topic. And let me see, where am I? Aaron, you can start it here. Nina Turner's interview on Status Quo with Jordan Sheridan is what we're going to be covering. So let's look at it and catch some of the things that she mentions in this video.
Former Ohio State Senator, former chairwoman, co-chair of the Bernie Sanders campaign, former president of Our Revolution, unbossed, the Young Turks. It's on 4:00 Eastern, I believe.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
Yes.
So people go to YouTube, unboss Nina Turner, check me out.
I hate to start this way because I think several interviews we've done, I've had to start this way. But obviously, what's going on in Memphis is capturing America's attention. Tyree Nichols was a 29-year-old who, I think it's accurate what his lawyer said, saying he was treated like a human piñata. I know you're a CNN contributor. I want to ask you because I just hear this narrative across cable news and the media that this was kind of like an exception. This was just bad policing. It's the training. They didn't have, where was the supervisor? A lot of stuff that frankly sounds like bullshit to me. I think this is not the exception. And I think a lot of this kind of beating happens. We just don't see it on camera.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Jordan. I mean, I covered this yesterday on my show. I'm broken up all day today. I've just been in a haze, and certainly nothing compared to Tyree's family, what his mother, his father, the rest of his family members are enduring. But I can tell you, as a Black woman in America and a Black mama of a Black son, I can definitely relate so much. So it's just like a heaviness, today for so many of us. This is
I did want her to be able to say that part, and then I'm going to fast forward because I didn't want to, allow her to say what she wanted to say about that since they started that way. And now let's get to the main part.
I want to ask you also, because obviously, a lot of attention is to the worst part of that video. We played some of it, but the beginning of that is like so many altercations.
Again, I want to get to more of the political things here, but this was hot. This was just happening when they did this interview, and that's why
Up a night that probably doesn't have great memories for you, but want to play a clip from our interview, April, I believe, or May, I forget. You lost to Congresswoman Shontel Brown. You did cause a little bit of a stir that night, though. Let's play the clip. Am I dreaming, or did you just announce a run for president?
Well, I said 2024, here we come. So I'm going to leave that for other people's imagination. But I said California got something to say about this. Iowa got something to say about this. Nevada got something to say about this.
Well, let me ask you, would you consider running as an independent rather than in the Democratic primary if you ran?
I would consider that. Absolutely, I would. All options are on the table.
I know you're going to be mad, but hey, have to follow up. Obviously, a couple months after that, maybe emotions are less raw. But I think whether you run or not, clearly you feel it. The progressive movement is a little bit in the wilderness right now. It's looking for leaders. It's looking for somebody to challenge what seems to be a continuation of the same old, same old. Have you decided on what you're doing next? Are you considering running? And if so, how would you do it?
I haven't made any decisions yet, Jordan. You didn't have to do that, although I knew that you would, knowing the way that I do. You didn't have to do that, but you went there. No, I haven't made any decisions, but you are absolutely right. If we continue on this course, not much is going to change. What this Congress and this president, by way of example, did to the rail workers to chill everybody, every worker in this country. They came for the rail workers, and that they are the personification of every other worker in this country. Voting rights went nowhere. George Floyd Policing Act went nowhere. PRO Act went nowhere. They let the child tax credit expire after pulling children out of poverty. You catapult them right back into poverty. They letting companies like Moderna get away with highway robbery, literally. That drug, the drug that we use for the COVID vaccination was created by the taxpayers' dollars, but yet these fools are going to get a chance to up the price to $130 when it costs $2 and some change to make, and they were only charging the federal government about $26. They are allowing, through the lack of pushing public policies that change material conditions, this kind of suffering to go on. And so, yeah, somebody got to challenge, or a group of somebody's have to challenge. And you're right, the progressive movement is in the wilderness, and they can't be there too much longer. And it does call on people, not just one person, Jordan, but a group of people who have the type of courage to continue to challenge the system. And part of challenging that system is actually running for that seat. Another way to challenge the system is to keep pushing for third parties in this country, ranked choice voting and other things that we could use as tools until we get there. The vast majority of the voters, as you know, Jordan, you have reported on this in the past, do not subscribe to the duopoly. They don't. They want another option. And especially if you ask millennials and
so far I'm liking what I'm hearing from Nina. I'm not going to apply whether it's authentic. I'm just gonna go go off her words. She's saying this is how she feels. Now, do you think she seems to be talking this way more forcefully? Do you think it's because of her experience with trying to run and break in to Congress on a national level and being targeted multiple times by the Democratic Party? Or do you think this is just talk? Like this is never gonna materialize? So that's a question for those in the comments. I'll toss up your comments as I play more of the video. So
and Z's, they definitely know that this is not working.
And let me ask you whether it would be you or somebody else. What are your thoughts? Because you see that so many people are, I mean, beyond done with the Democratic Party. You just went down the list of what they're not doing. I agree with you. Do you feel that, you know, not to say nobody should ever run as a Democrat again, but do you think if you were going to do it, do you put any stock in the idea of, listen, the odds are very long that a third party candidate on this day could win the presidency, but somebody needs to start that movement on the presidential level. What do you think for that argument that we're never going to do it if nobody tries, but we know what will happen within the Democratic Party?
Well, George, you know what you laid out there is exactly right. Somebody or a group of somebodies do have to start it somewhere. We know that because of the duopoly, and both duopolies answer to one master, and that's their owner donors, period. The corporate wings of both of these parties, Republicans and Democrats, are failing the workaday people of this nation, and they need options. So there are people, I mean, we got the Working Families Party, even though it's not national in nature. You know, they're primarily in New York, they're here in Ohio, they're in different states. I mean, that to me is a really good template. We know that, and our brother Andrew Yang has started something as well. We need more people to start these kinds of things and to challenge the system. And yes, somebody is going to have to take the plunge and to run nationally as an independent. I don't think we're that far from people doing that, because people are.
that part. I mean, this seems a little more. This seems further than what I've heard her say. If anybody has a clip of her saying something like this before, please, put that in the chat and I'll look at it. But I've never heard her talking in this manner of saying, yes, somebody needs to run third party, and that she's basically saying, I'm not sure that is too far off from now. So do you hear a more radical Nina? So are we hearing a more radical Nina right now? If you're just getting here, hit that like button. Let's listen some more. Actually, I want to hear that last part again because it's kind of big. Let's go back 40 seconds here.
Both duopolies answer to one master, and that's their owner donors, period. The corporate wings of both of these parties, Republicans and Democrats, are failing the workaday people of this nation, and they need options. So there are people, I mean, we got the Working Families Party, even though it's not national in nature. You know, they're primarily in New York.
Yeah, we don't want
Ohio. They're in different states. I mean, that to me is a really good template. We know that, and our brother Andrew Yang has started something as well.
That's another bad one.
We need more people to start these kinds of things and to challenge the system. And yes, somebody is going to have to take the plunge and to run nationally as an independent. I don't think we're that far from people doing that, because people are disgusted. And I tell you this, if they take away, if they scale back in any way Medicare and Social Security, they're going to have a problem on their hands, the likes of which they have not seen in modern times. I really do believe that will be the genesis to push more people to do what we see our sisters and brothers and family and friends do. George, I mean, the man said he was going to up the retirement age by 2 years from 62 to 64. Millions of them took to the streets instantly. It didn't take a whole lot, because they are very cognizant of what they deserve, and that people deserve to be able to retire at an age where they still can enjoy their lives and not retire with your back broken down. See, we got to get that kind of firepower in the United States of America. And it's just going to take a few people to light that spark, Jordan. But I think we are right there as a nation. The tinderbox is it's right there. We got to keep pushing. And I'm certainly committed to being one of those leaders. As you know, I am a Democrat. Every office I've ran for as a Democrat, I'm a member of the DNC from the great state of Ohio, but it does not stop me from challenging these people and telling the truth about what they are doing and what they are not doing, Jordan. And at some point, the Democratic Party has to care that neo-fascism is right at our door. Neo-fascism kills you quickly. Neoliberalism kills you slowly. But neo-fascism is a product of neoliberalism. And if they don't care enough to know, why should the voters of this country continue, especially the Black voters who give the Democratic Party over 90% of our vote each and every time? And we're always called upon to save the Democratic Party when the Democratic Party systemically, Jordan, I need people to understand this. I'm not talking about individual stuff, system-wide, policy-wide, something that has generational impact, are doing very little or if anything other than taking to social media. We must stop as Americans, stop being complicit in our own demise and do a new thing.
I'd like to ask you, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, whether somebody runs in the Democratic Party or a third party, you were along for the Bernie campaign. You were basically living in South Carolina, trying to elect that man. People should know you basically moved there to try to help him win South Carolina, help him win the presidency. And it's not a secret. I mean, Bernie, made decisions to go up to a certain line, but never crossed that line. One particular instance, I know Zephyr Teachout, who is a New York official activist, wrote a piece for The Guardian, just pointing out facts and basically pointing out that Joe Biden has a corruption problem, that, Bernie Sanders did not stand by that, called that out. I think that whoever runs, whether it's on the national level or Congress, Senate, there seems to be an allergy to calling the Democratic Party what it is, to calling out Joe Biden and others corruption. I don't know what you call it when you set policy based on how much money you get from certain special interests. I mean, you just mentioned Moderna. Ralph Nader has made the point, Joe Biden has the power, the emergency powers, to take the patent that we funded for the vaccine and share that formula with the rest of the world. I'm not trying to get a soundbite. I'm just asking you, will somebody call these politicians, Biden and others, corrupt?
I mean, there are people doing that. And yes, I remember what happened to Zephyr. I mean, the same thing happened to me. I stated the facts. You may remember there was a debate, and one of the debate moderators asked the senator straight up, did he agree with his national co-chair when I talked about his record of authoring the crime bill, being willing to make a grand bargain with the Republicans to chip away at. See, we've been down this.
Oh, he's gonna make a grand deal with McCarthy. That's what he's known for, making deals with Republicans. So,
road before with Senator Biden. We've been down this road with Congressman Biden, with him, he wanted to make a grand bargain with the Republicans to cut Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, and was very adamant about that thing. Authored the crime bill, is responsible for students not being able to cancel their student debt via bankruptcy, and so many other things that we can name. When then Senator Harris indicted him on the statements that he made about busing and integration, I mean, he said very clearly that he did not want his children going to school with Black children. He didn't want them in the jungle. Now, these are these man's words. So at a certain point, I mean, Jordan, you and I can go down an entire list of things that this current president has done and said while in elected office, not as a private citizen, but as a policy maker. I will state what I said before. At some point, the American people have to stop being complicit in our own demise. And yes, there are people calling out that type of corruption. But listen, some people will go all the way. We're not all wired the same in terms of how much courage one has to challenge the system. It will punish you. And we know this. I mean, look at what happened to me in my run for Congress. It is not an accident that all of those groups got together to try to crush that. Why? Because they
somebody says she gave a similar speech at the the launch or the convention for the Movement for a People's Party. I watched that. I do remember it being similar, but not quite. Um, I think the writing is on the wall. It cannot be ignored. And I do feel like Jimmy Dore and RBN, quite frankly, have specifically has a hand in this, at least uncovering the discontentment. We didn't create it. There needed to be somebody out there saying, no, we're not doing the Democrat shit no more. There needs to be somebody saying that out here in the public space of art, because the left is very in tuned into the media. So yeah, I don't know. It's this sounds a little different. So I feel like all of the yelling and shouting that RBN and Jimmy Dore has done and is doing about this strategy, it's breaking through to people. It's breaking through that, hey, yeah, it's come time that we can no longer, like Nina and Jordan is coming to a realization that they can no longer persuade people back to this again, no matter the candidate. They understand the hunger, but they also see how the system is set up rigged. So that's the dilemma that they're having to deal with the realization that the people are no longer with this bullshit no more. Or the amount of people that we need to be with it, we can't achieve that. There's a growing number of people that are saying, fuck this shit, no more. And that's what it feels like, that realization. And like I said, it feels like RBN has contributed to this by uncovering that discontentment. Let's listen to some more of what Nina says here, and I'm going to take it back 14 seconds here.
One has to challenge the system, it will punish you. And we know this. I mean, look at what happened to me in my run for Congress.
Sorry, I needed to take it back longer than that. So let's go back 45 seconds here.
I will state what I said before. At some point, the American people have to stop being complicit in our own demise. And yes, there are people calling out that type of corruption. But listen, some people will go all the way. You know, we're not all wired the same in terms of how much courage one has to challenge the system.
And I think here she is saying, because RBN forcefully pushes, and she's saying, yeah, it is time. And I hear y'all, but everybody is different. Their threshold's different. Some people may not be there yet. So that's what I'm hearing. Let's listen to some more.
System, it will punish you. And we know this. I mean, look at what happened to me in my run for Congress. It is not an accident that all of those groups got together to try to crush that. Why? Because they know when I got to that Congress, I'm not playing games with these fools, whether they Democrat or Republican. If you are mistreating the American people, I am going to call it out. If you are not using the power that the American people gave to you to help change material conditions, I am going to call it out. There's no such thing. You cannot be blindly loyal to anybody or to any entity. And as I've said before, and I will say it again, I do not worship men and women. I worship God and I serve the people. And ultimately, we got to answer to a higher power that I believe. And when you are elected to office, your job is to answer for the mamas and the papas, the big daddies and the big mamas who live in the hoods all over this country, whether those hoods are urban, rural, or suburban, who need policy help, and not to the owner donors. But both of these parties are owned. Both of them are owned at the highest level. There are grassroots people, Jordan, as you know, trying to work still within the system. And God bless those people. We need an inside game and outside game, but we cannot deny the fact that there are corrupting forces in both of these parties. And we have elected officials who are, by definition, corrupt because they answer to the moneyed interests of this country. And they say basically by what they do and do not do, the hell with the everyday people in this country.
And I want to make a point. This isn't a question, but this is a point. And I don't care if people criticize me as a Nina bro, but this is just the facts. To those who say that you lost because you didn't run scorched earth against the Democratic Party, I would say, because I was on the ground, frankly, you lost the first election because you made a comment about Joe Biden that was the truth, and they put it on billboards all over the city, and they ran ads again. I mean, I was in the hotel room, literally every 20 minutes was an ad about what you said, calling out Joe Biden, and it was all over billboards, and you lost by 4,000 votes in the dead of summer. And I would argue that's why you lost. So for those that say you didn't show courage or bravery, I think you lost because you did tell the truth about the Democratic Party. Second time.
Well, one thing, Jordan, and I'm not trying to get into a thing here. You're talking about two different events. The bowl of shit comment was pre-election. These comments in this interview is post-election. The assessment by people that she went soft was during the election. So we're not talking about the same timing here.
Second time is different, but that first time,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the
so-
Republican Party too. I mean, I did. And basically, the hell with the people who say that as well. You got a lot of people talking a lot of mess, but they will never put nothing on the line other than to be Monday morning quarterbacks and commentating on social media. If you're not in the arena, I really don't want to hear nothing that you got to say. Really. And that's honest. And I don't care if you're progressive or not. All that smack talking when you're not going to sacrifice anything about how hard somebody went or did not win. No, very few people, Jordan, go as hard as I do in the paint. And you know that you have witnessed that. I will, but that doesn't mean I always agree with every single thing that any one person or group of people say. And also, as a Black woman, I just want to let it be known, I claim my agency. So I don't care if you're a progressive, a liberal, a moderate, whatever, little country, little rock and roll. What you're not going to do is tell Nina Turner what to do, period.
Speaking of that.
So let's talk about this nonsense. This part right here is pretty nonsense. So let's not pretend, Nina, that you did not soften up your rhetoric when you began running. That's the critique. It's a fair critique and it's an accurate critique. The way you're speaking now in this interview is why people like you. You can't stifle what makes people like you and then expect the same result. People like you because of the way you speak and the manner and the words you choose when you're being fiery. That's why people like you. That person went away during the election. That's what happened. So that is just the truth. The people who were going to phone bake, the people who were going to give those extra dollars, those are the most enthusiastic people who are only going to do those things if they hear Nina Turner talking in a manner that she normally talks. Not the Democratic approved Nina Turner candidate.
I got to ask, listen, the Freedom Caucus just held Kevin McCarthy hostage. What was it, 10, 15, 20 votes? Obviously, I don't agree with the Freedom Caucus on much of anything politically, policy-wise, but I do agree, hey, play a little hardball. Bottom line, AOC, the squad, they ran on playing hardball. We know what she said, bring the ruckus to the Democratic Party. I'm not saying you need to hold the Democratic Party hostage on every single vote, on every single thing. Being a politician also means you have to compromise sometimes. But I just want to play this clip because AOC responded to the Freedom Caucus what they did. I just want to play this clip.
I see some people say, Dems should negotiate to get concessions. We do all the time. But what we don't do is bring them publicly in order to empower not just Republicans, but the fascist flank of the Republican Party. And ironically, a lot of the concessions that Kevin McCarthy, in nature, they're not the same ones, of course, but the nature of some of these concessions actually do overlap with some of
the nature of it. What the fuck does that mean? She's trying to take credit somehow? Like,
that have been the subject of private negotiations on the Democratic side. We have also negotiated for certain budgetary.
What's up, Ron?
What's going on, man? Hey, I couldn't take it, bro. Nina Turner was making me mad, man. I got it. I got to clap back at Nina, man.
You want me to rewind it to a part or just let it play?
What
part were you looking at? What part were you looking like? What really triggered you? What really triggered you off?
I want to go back to when Jordan was speaking on when she had lost her races, when she should have went scorched earth against the Democratic Party.
Oh, this last. Okay,
I get it. Okay. I'm like, hold on. I don't remember it like that. Maybe I smoked a lot. I am in recovery, but I don't remember it like that. I don't remember it going like that at all.
Let me see.
Cancel their student debt via bankruptcy.
Okay, so it's right.
Yeah, we can probably. Yeah.
That's honest, and I don't care if you're progressive or not. All that smack talking when you're not gonna sacrifice anything about how hard somebody went or did not win. No, very few people, Jordan, go as hard as I do in the paint. And you know that you have witnessed that. I will, but that doesn't mean I always agree with every single thing that any one person or group of people say. And also, as a Black woman, I just want to let it be known.
We can stop right there because what she's telling us is no matter what Joe Biden would have done or the Democratic Party done to her, she would have bowed down. She don't have to agree with Biden being as harsh as he can to the Blacks and to the older communities. She's still willing to work with them. And as far as her going hard in the paint, Jordan even said, look, it was billboards of you talking shit about the Democratic Party. Okay, so if the Democratic Party going that hard against you, why didn't you go that hard against the Democratic Party? Right. Even if you was running as a Democrat. Even if you was running as a Democrat, it would have showed the people in your state and in your district that you have balls to fight against the corruption that's at the top. But what did you do? What did you do, Nina? Because I remember it differently than what you are explaining right here. I remember you bowing down and hushing up. I remember that vividly. And you said nothing. I mean, you tried to call out Chantel, but she was kicking your ass so much. There was nothing you can do with the help of the party that you're still praising. That's what I remember. So why are you on here telling these lies about, who's going to go in? It's not about what, who does what for the people. It's about doing something for the people. See, all these people, they will have you have this illusion that we are winning or losing. Nobody's on the fucking team. Nobody's on the fucking team. We all are losing. We all are fucking losing. But for Nina to sit here and act like, it's still okay. Like basically what she is saying is, she's still going to work for the Democratic Party. She said it was just like eating a bowl of shit and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But when it really comes to standing up and going hard in the paint, when the people needed her the most for a third party, when she had the fire from Bernie Sanders, she could have took that and just went on. But she didn't. She left us. She left us for the Democratic Party. We went left. She stayed. Right? And you can't even what are you going to run on, Nina? You're horrible on the police. Your son and your husband is a police officer. How are you going to appeal to Black people during the heaps of these police brutality crisis? What are you going to say to us? My husband isn't like that. My family isn't like that. What are you going to say? None of these people can do anything for us but run a motherfucking mouth. And I love Nina. She is one of the reasons why I'm here today. But that don't mean I can't speak up on the bullshit that she's spewing right now. Because Nina could have went scorched earth. And if that didn't work, She had momentum from the scorched earth to go third party to say, look what the Democratic actually does. Look what the Democratic Party actually does when somebody tries to run. Now look how undemocratic they actually are. They pulling people, they pulling money and millions of dollars against one candidate. You could have educated the people and pulled people to the Green Party, pulled people independent, pulled people to the left, but you stayed and you hushed. That's not going hard in the paint to me. They ain't nowhere near hard in the paint. Right? All right then. So
I think
tell me
that's
what
what I think
bullshit, bro.
she might be conflating things, like mixing things up when people say she didn't go hard. They're talking about her rhetoric, and she might be talking about physically getting up to do work on her campaign. Nobody's talking about that, Nina. Nobody's talking about you physically getting up and, you know, doing the campaign event and doing that. Nobody's talking about that. It's the rhetoric.
She had her chance. She missed the boat.
And then for Jordan to pretend like the bowl of shit got her in trouble. Okay, but that you can go hard in the paint without saying bowl of shit. How about just bringing up the corruption with numbers? You can bring up corruption with numbers at a church. Don't use no profanity.
She could have used that
all.
shit
You know what I'm saying?
to flip those rednecks in her fucking town, to flip those white people and those fucking black Democrats, but they are conservative. She could have used that momentum to really educate and flip her people to teach them something differently, but she didn't run. Let's take it back. Bernie Sanders, after he lost and dropped out all that shit, she could have took a block of them. She could have took a block of us and was like, let's go over here. Let's do this. But I said block because she still had the momentum. We were still following her on Twitter. We still believed in her until the last fucking thing. We still by Nina until her last election. Even I did. I talked to her after her last election. So what the fuck is she talking about? You know what I'm saying? I understand that you probably brokenhearted because we're not standing by you now, and you see that the movement all broken up and people went socialist, communist, and libtard, whatever the fuck. But we had to do our own thing, and we all are doing better, really. Even the people that move right, like if we was to stay with y'all, we would have been fucked in the middle of nowhere. Look at y'all campaigns now. All these failed strategies. You lost twice. AOC lost all her powers. You know what I'm saying? Ilhan Omar just got removed. Yeah, we would have been fucked. Would have been fucked if we would have stayed with y'all. You missed the boat. Don't be mad at us because we seen it coming. We seen the tidal wave. We took the first boat out this bitch. Y'all said, "Oh no, that's the blue wave." We said, "Oh no, there ain't no motherfucking blue wave, nigga. That's not a blue wave. It's a tidal wave. You about to get washed." And what happened? They put so much money behind Chantel Brown, she couldn't even handle it. She was riding around in her little van and stuff like that. It was sad. But she could have had the people. You missed it. And I'm sorry that shit didn't work out how you planned it, but that's how it goes. Maybe you should stop compromising with people who tastes like a bowl of shit to eat, because a lot of other people aren't like, I know what you say, you're gonna be disappointed in politicians. Okay, understandable. But motherfucker, I would really like it if you would just stand up at least once. Not talking about, you know what I'm saying, not just talking the shit about a motherfucker, because Kamala Harris said, I am that girl. But now that girl is the VP. So talking shit don't automatically get you kicked from these parties. You know what I'm saying? If you was really about it, dog, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Maybe they just don't see you as a face of their party. Maybe they just don't want you around. Maybe they don't like you. Maybe it is time for somebody to run third party, Nina. Maybe it is, because she keep on saying, yeah, somebody's gonna do it. Somebody's gonna do it. Who's gonna do it? Who's gonna do it, Nina? Is this just some preaching, some random preaching, or is this your bid? Is this your bid that you throwing in for a third party? Is this your bid that you throwing in for the Green Party, the Independents, or is you just talking to get us hyped up? Because you have did this before. You have done this before. Nobody gives a fuck We know somebody need to run third party. We know somebody need to do this and do that. Shit, we know we need a revolution. But I'm not about to sit here and act like I'm not about to sit here and talk on something that I'm not gonna do. And you talking on some shit. You saying that we're doing shit, and people who won't, you know what I'm saying, be out there and do whatever. Nigga, you won't actually do it. You won't actually stand up to the people. You won't actually stand up for the people, I should say. Where were you? Where was all this third party talk when your last election was going on? Where was that, Nina? Where was you when we needed you? Right? So don't talk about what we can and what we can't and what we won't do. Because you got millionaires backing you. You got a hell of a platform. You got Jordan, TYT. You got all these motherfuckers. There's no excuse for you people not to run third party, or at least try to push your audience towards third parties. No excuse.
And let me ask you this, Rome. No, I'm not asking, but this is my comment on that. To that point, this last point you just made. How come none of the people? I guess this is a question. How come none of the people who really have the ability to get tens of thousands of people mobilized, none of them are willing to do it? Nina Turner, AOC, Bernie Sanders, you know how just those three combined could literally mobilize at least 1 million people, if not, I mean, physically mobilize at least 1 million people to some sort of action.
If they don't do that,
why won't they do that? Why won't they do that?
Because it'll get motherfuckers talking. Because it'll get motherfuckers, like, even if it don't mobilize people to get on the ground, it will disrupt their base. It will disrupt their base. It will get people talking from different sides that never talked before. And maybe, a lot of people feel like this is the strategy to go with because the Democratic Party is campaign fair. A lot of people feel like they should stay under the bosom of the Democratic Party. But all of these people feel comfortable from them to their base. From them to their base, they feel comfortable. They're not actually going to challenge the Democratic Party. Like I said before, these motherfuckers are just like a thesis telling me I'm going to pray for you in the middle of a crisis. You know what I'm saying? They give money to a politician and say, I did work. I did something. I did good. I voted. It does nothing for the people on the ground. And they're not going to do anything that's going to make them uncomfortable. That gets them out of their square. Like, I swear, like, I'm not a voter. But even I know the importance of having a third party, especially for negotiation reasons. But we see we could have a third party, and they could look like Canada third parties. Just another fucking party full of liberals. It could be another party full of libertarians or Republicans, or we can take it while we can and shape it in our view, shape it to how we want. Everybody always talk about this is not the time. It's not the time. And now she's like, oh, it's about that time. No, it's been time. But the question is who and why are you the one to deliver this message if you're not the one who's going to be out there putting her name in a fucking hat for an independent party? Why talk on some shit that you're not going to do? See, I'm not going to talk about running. I might talk shit about the motherfuckers who is running. I'm not going to talk, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to talk shit. I'm not going to be too big for my bridges, but y'all motherfuckers too big for your bridges because you're not going to run this third party. I'm not going to run this Democrat. But I ain't about to speak on, don't speak on the people, bro. We're not, you know what I'm saying? We're not politicians. These are not politicians that you're speaking to. You're speaking on a proletarian, Nina Turner. Remember that.
Why doesn't Nina want to be remembered in history as the one who finally built up a third party to destroy the duopoly? Wouldn't that be a grander thing to be remembered in history and just another leg in the clog of the political corruption? Why don't you go on a crusade across America? I'm sure you can raise money across America to get the Green Party on the ballot, or call it make the Green Party the Black Party, where you're trying to get black people right. You get what I'm saying? There's so much that can be done. Why aren't you doing that?
Money and status will be comfortable,
registering
man.
people for the Green Party, educating people. You got 2 years before the next election. Why aren't you doing it today, going door to door? You don't know what the Green Party is? You knew me as a Democrat. I'm going to run the Green Party. Let me explain what the Green Party is so you know when I run next time, you know what's up. Why aren't we doing this sort of preparation now?
And she got more than enough proof that the Democratic Party is corrupt, that they fought against her. They put money. They built the whole fucking thing for Nina Turner. Why is she not using that as leverage to pull people from this party so they won't have to vote for a bowl of shit next time, Nina? Like that's the bullshit that I be talking about, man. They sit here and talk shit about us, but she's gonna compromise with fucking Jim Crow Joe, but she talk shit and talk down on a proletarian, just like a motherfucking cop. Just like a motherfucking cop would, man. And that's the bullshit that I'm talking about. And I don't give a fuck if you black or not. Cop or nigga, this is that cop mentality, man. She need to fucking, if she's not gonna run as third party, she need to shut the fuck up about it. You know what I'm saying? Because we got our people out here. I'm building a motherfucking party. We're not running. We're not playing games. We're not playing the white supremacist games, but we're still a legit party.
She just dangling the meat around, huh?
Nigga.
With this talking.
Nigga, just
preaching. Stop talking about it.
It's just preaching. It's just preaching. Because what's she gonna do? What the fuck she gonna do? She's just getting out here preaching and getting people all hype again. Oh, Nina Turner might jump in. She might jump in. No, the fuck she ain't. She gonna jump in, and when she jump in, y'all gonna jump in too and be like, oh shit, this is just a backdoor to the Democratic Party. The fuck?
That's exactly what they're gonna find. Let me play a little more so I can get a couple more of your comments because we actually got to get out of here. They got the JB and Savvy show in like 20 minutes. But there's a little more that she says about this part that you might want to comment on. I rewind it a little bit more, so let's listen.
And I did, and basically, the hell with the people who say that as well. You got a lot of people talking a lot of mess, but they will never put nothing on the line other than to be Monday morning quarterbacks and commentating on social media. If you're not in the arena, I really don't want to hear nothing that
is literally you. Hold on, pause.
I don't care if you
pause. That is literally you. What would $15 an hour do for you and your family? What would Medicare for All do with you and your family? Even some of you elected officials, that is nothing but you commenting on each other fucking posts, talking shit about another fucking politicians that you're going to shake hands and clap hands and hug and go to fucking country clubs with. That is you guys. That is you. And damn right that the proletarian is talking about some shit that affects their motherfucking lives. These are politicians that affect our lives. So when they write bills or they do lack of, fuck yes, we're gonna have people commentating on that shit. Hell yes. What the fuck is you talking about? You forgetting the powers of the levels of power, Nina? You forgetting that just because a motherfucker got more Twitter followers or might have a more hype Twitter base than you, that's power? A motherfucker can talk shit, but them niggas can do something about it. That's the difference. That's the fucking difference. And I might be mansplaining. I shouldn't have to. I fucking shouldn't have to somebody who's been in the game for longer than 20 years. And you still trying to go with failed strategies, and you get mad at the people because they don't want to join in with your failed strategies. I'm sorry. I'm not insane anymore. I'm not going to do the same things over and over and over again and let you drag me out my motherfucking house away from my kids and my grandson, away from my sick girlfriend, away from my family, drag me across America to lose. I'm sorry, it's not happening again. It's not happening.
Let's go.
You're progressive or not. All that smack talking when you're not going to sacrifice anything about how hard somebody went or did not win. No, very few people, Jordan, go as hard as I do.
Okay, and then it's the rest of this you saw already.
And you know that you have.
The rest of
Ain't nobody goes hard as I went. Ain't nobody goes hard as I went. I just got fucking slaughtered in my own hometown. I just got slaughtered in the same fucking city that I've been running in for fucking years. I just got slaughtered. The people haven't learned anything new about me. I haven't done a damn thing for the people, because if I did, I wouldn't have got slaughtered like that in my own fucking hometown, because my work would have spoke for itself. Nina Turner, you got murdered in your own town. And don't blame it on people being conservative. If they're conservative, then what is your job to do? You teach the proletarian. What you didn't do your motherfucking job, nigga. So you got your ass smoked, and rightfully so. And all you motherfuckers that come in that call yourself progressives, that call yourselves whatever socialists, you're gonna meet that same treatment. You see what happened to AOC? She got her shit taken away. Ilhan Omar just got removed. Your ass got smoked. Jamal Bowman is kissing all the asses that he can, because he know that he can be next. And motherfucker, there is no place for nobody like y'all. Think y'all can take over the Democratic Party? You ain't got the balls to go against the goddamn. You ain't got the balls to go against the police departments of America. You damn sure ain't got the balls to go against the FBI. You damn sure ain't got the balls to go against. Shall I say clitoris? Or shall I say titties? Wherever the fuck. You ain't got the cojones to go against the CIA. You ain't got it to go against the fucking FBI. You ain't got it to go against the fucking water departments, or even Nestle. You ain't got it to go against these militias, these white militias, the military, the military industrial complex, the prison industrial complex. It is so much shit that we got to break down. There is no inside game. The only inside game is from the people. It's going to start outside, and it's going to end up with us on the inside running that motherfucker. That's the only inside game that we're trying to play. We're not playing the games of these white supremacists no more. We're not giving these money. We're not giving our money to these politicians for their lies and their promises that they can't deliver on anymore. We're not giving them no more of our mind, body, and soul. No more blood, sweat, and tears unless it's for us. And damn right, I'm pissed off because we tried this before, and I'll be damned if I let my people fail again. We're not going to fail. We're not going to fail. We're going to prevail. And without them, without these motherfuckers, because they weak and they holding us back. Straight like that. So Nina Turner, respond to that and get to me on the ground, because I'll be in Ohio. I've been in your neighborhood. I see how it is. I know what they say about you. You're not there. Black people getting harassed by your neighborhood. It's probably your son. The call is coming from inside of the house, nigga. I'm done.
That was fire. And this is the infamous, famous video that Nick and I got the "We Go and Be All Right" whole thing, and Dana found this for us and tagged me. So let me play it. Is it gonna play? Yeah.
Right. Don't say a damn thing about fucking Mama Bear.
We gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. We gonna be
This is where Nick and I got it from.
We gonna be all right. 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 We gonna.
Yes. All right. So this is where Nick and I got that from when we kept saying.
I was wondering where he get this from. I'm like, dog, this shit is just, it's funny because we're not going to be all right. Many people have died since that clip. 1 million people have died since that clip. Since that was
We're not
clip.
Gonna be all right.
Not going to be all right.
Democratic Party, but we got to get out of here because
Let me stop. I love y'all, JB. I'm sorry.
But we still got 15 minutes. Let's give a 15-minute break for everybody watching, all 450 people watching right now. 15-minute break, and then come back and watch the Sabby and JB show. But Rome, any final thoughts on anything coming up?
No, I'm supposed to be recovering today, man. I'm supposed to be recovering today. I'm good. I was recovering. I seen Nina Turner lying like her ass off. Her ass is just all over the fucking room, just flying. I'm like, hold on, let me go help this lady catch her ass, because she's just keep lying it off. But other than that, I'm about to go lay my ass back down. I was asleep, nigga. I was like, man, someone was telling me, check on RBN. Check on RBN. I see this motherfucker. She lying like a motherfucker.
And then you over here now.
I'm like, let me get my ass in the office. Huh?
All right. Well, all right. So let's play this outro video. Like I said, there's 15 minutes. Make sure you like this video on your way out. Let's see what Malcolm X video we got here. Here's one we played many times before. It's about the police. So let's listen to the great Honorable Malcolm. Here he is. Here, I found the video. On our way out, make sure you stick around for the Sabby and JB show in 15 minutes. Take a 15-minute break and come right back.
The police are able to use the press to make the white public think that 90% or 99% of the Negroes in the Negro community are criminals. And once the white public is convinced that most of the Negro community is a criminal element, then this automatically paves the way for the police to move into the Negro community, exercising Gestapo tactics, stopping any black man who is on the sidewalk, whether he is guilty or whether he is innocent, whether he is well dressed or whether he is poorly dressed, whether he is educated or whether he is dumb, whether he's a Christian or whether he's a Muslim. As long as he is black and a member of the Negro community, the white public thinks that the white policeman is justified in going in there and trampling on that man's civil rights and on that man's human rights. Once the police have convinced the white public that the so-called Negro community is a criminal element, they can go in and question, brutalize, murder unarmed, innocent Negroes, and the white public is gullible enough to back them up. This makes the Negro community a police state. This makes the Negro neighborhood a police state. It's the most heavily patrolled. It has more police in it than any other neighborhood, yet it has more crime in it than any other neighborhood. How can you have more cops and more crime? Crime. It shows you that the cops must be in cahoots